Hi everyone, welcome back for another pickup video. So I'm starting off looking down at the table first to begin with, because for this first part of the video there's actually a lot of games to get through. So for the baseball part of it, I'm just going to zip through it, and then for the rest of the video I'm just going to go very similar to the way I've been doing the last couple of pickup videos. High Heat 2000, MLB Pennant Race, Triple Play in '99 with Alex Rodriguez while he was still in Seattle, Triple Play 2000, and Triple Play 2001. So next, a couple of Sega Saturn games just to add a little bit to that collection. World Series Baseball to go along with my other ones. And then for Japanese imports, Greatest 996. Alright, and lastly we've got the cartridge baseball games just to finish that off before I move to the rest of the pickups. So first of all, for the Gameboy Advanced, we've got High Heat 2003. We've got a complete with clamshell Triple Play 96. I already had the cartridge to begin with, but this one here came complete. So it's actually a nice little pickup there. A couple of Nintendo ones here. Bo Jackson Baseball. And RBI Baseball 3, just to finish off my little mini set of Tenjin. I will at some point get a better label to replace this one, but for now this is a nice one just to finish off my little set and get that out of the way. And then lastly, my first Famicom baseball game to add to the collection, the Best Play Baseball Special. And one thing that I will say is that with this box, I really love the art on this. It looks really cool. I'm probably going to get the little converter at some point just to try this out, just to see how it looks like, but the little cartoons and the animations on this actually look really good. So it's a nice little pickup. I love picking up stuff like this on eBay, and it's usually pretty inexpensive. So that's it for the baseball related pickups. On the screen probably somewhere I put the total amount that I'm at in relation to that little subset of the collection. So that'll be it for that. And for the rest of the video I'm going to be doing the same format as before, talking about all the rest of the games I picked up.
So even after that healthy preamble, I ended up actually picking up a couple more things. So I'm actually going to end up zipping through most of these just so that I can kind of get through it, because you can't get really a sense of where the table drops off, but just so you can kind of get the idea. Now, don't assume anything too crazy. I didn't end up just buying a big collection from somebody, but I ended up picking up little lots here and there, and it kind of added up since the last time I made a video. So I'm going to zip through a good chunk of these just so you can get an idea of what I ended up running into. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about a couple of video game accessories that I picked up really briefly. So the first one ended up being for the Wii. So I picked up the Wii Zapper Accessory. Technically I didn't count it as a game originally, but I did remember after the fact. This one actually does come with the Link's crossbow training. I've been playing around with the Wii Zapper a little bit. It's not bad. I also did pick up another third-party kind of gun accessory to go along with it, so that's good for kind of the shooting games that I've been into lately. So between this and the other one now, I've got at least two kind of gun accessories to go with the Wii. And the Link's crossbow training, which I haven't tried out yet, but I'll definitely give it a shot at some point. Secondly, I needed to pick this up to go along with my Sega Saturn, so I picked up the Action Replay Plus on eBay. So any of you who might not be familiar with it, this is kind of useful. The Action Replay Plus was really kind of the Game Genie for a lot of things, including for the Saturn. But really the big perk for somebody like myself going on with my Saturn is that this basically makes it region free. So I can play a couple of my Saturn import games, so it kind of expands the library that I can have. I didn't really get an amazing price on this on eBay, but I had a little bit of PayPal left over from a couple of things that I had sold previously. So in reality I ended up getting this for free. So in that sense, I couldn't complain. Okay, so on to the rest of the games. One thing I will add to what was on previously, even though I thought I covered all the baseball games between the first part of the video being recorded and the latter portion of it, I did pick up one or two more that just went along with it, so I'll get those out of the way right off the top. And actually, I'll do that with the Wii games. So I picked up a few more for the Wii collection, but just to get rid of the first part, very exciting title. Little League World Series Baseball 2009. Very exciting. They actually had at one of the stores nearby me a pile of games that were literally like $2 or $3, and I picked these up in the pile just to go with the rest of the baseball collection in the black shelf behind me. So in addition to the total that you saw earlier, we're going to add two more. The Bigs 2, Prince Fielder on the front. So these are all going to use, I think, the Wii controls. I might give them a shot at least once just to see how they kind of play, but for the most part, they're just going to go in the collection behind me. So I think with these and what was in the other total, I think is 187 baseball games. So if you ever wanted to know a sign that somebody's mentally ill, that'll probably do it for you. So these are not baseball-related Wii games. So I picked up a bunch, a couple of more of the light gun shooters to go along. These actually I just found at Walmart. They were brand new, but I thought I'd pick them up. Top Shot Arcade. So more than anything, I just thought the cover was interesting. And I haven't run into it. I only played the game for a little while just to try it out. It is actually pretty fun. I can't figure out what's the deal with the pink bunny at the bottom there. I don't know what the deal is with that. And that deer definitely looks terrified, which just made me laugh. So, you know, pick that up relatively inexpensively. And I figured I'd have one like legitimate hunting game as a light gun game. So I picked up Remington Super Slam Hunting Alaska. It actually looks pretty good. Like the nature in the game, you know, as you go in the hunting with your light gun. And that looks like a pretty vicious bear, you know, going on over there that you're going to be trying to shoot down. So, you know, it's interesting. I'm not going to get most of these. If I come across something great, but for the light gun shooter, I thought I'd pick up at least one, just as a representative of that type of light gun game. To go along with the same thing, this one was kind of one that I hadn't heard of, but I saw it inexpensively, so I thought I'd pick it up. Reload for the Wii. So this one here is, I wish I had taken some footage of it, but really this one, all it is a bunch of like shooting mini games. So this is really good if you just want to get used to the idea of using the light gun shooter. It's something that you'll play for a little while, try to beat your high score, and then come back to it later. You're not really going to spend hours playing this, but it's actually pretty fun playing for like 20 or 25 minutes for a little while, maybe between other games you're playing. So that's pretty cool, actually. This one is one that I like a little bit more. The other Resident Evil light gun game on the Wii, Resident Evil: The Darkside Chronicles. So this one is the other one along with Resident Evil. I think it's Umbrella Chronicles. Yes, the Umbrella Chronicles. So this is the Darkside Chronicles. I like this one better in terms of what I saw as I was playing through the game. What I didn't like is, and again, I wish I had taken some footage of it. Maybe I will at some point, just comparing these different shooters. But with this one, I think the way they tried to make it more difficult is by making the camera shaky. So rather than you pointing the gun around, what they do is they just keep jerking the camera around as if suddenly your head was, you know, if you were going into spasms. You're trying to look at something, trying to aim right at it, and suddenly the camera view just goes like this. And you're trying to aim and adjusting for all that movement at the same time. It makes it challenging, but kind of artificially so. But still a very interesting game, and I've gotten a kick out of it so far. So another one, again, to go with the light gun games, Dead Space Extraction. So for anybody who's a fan of the series Dead Space, I'm not really into it, but since I do like this genre of games here on this system, I definitely thought I should pick it up. I think this is a prequel to the Dead Space series. Very interesting. It does have quite a bit of story going on with it, even as an on-rail shooter. They're trying to basically establish how we ended up in the situation that the characters will find themselves with later. They're just trying to set the groundwork for what's going to follow. So if you're kind of interested in that, this is kind of the prequel for all the other Dead Space games. Next is a couple of silly ones that I picked up either inexpensively or just because I'd get a kick out of it. Just because I like a lot of Rockstar games, and this one just struck me as a little odd given their collection. When I think of Rockstar games, I think of like Grand Theft Auto and things like that. I don't so much think about table tennis on the Wii. I tried it a little bit with the motion controls. I still don't like motion controls, but it was definitely interesting. Visually intriguing. They've definitely got some characters in it, but I don't know about this one. But I'm going to keep this one in my collection just because I got a kick out of it, but weird choice by Rockstar, but very interesting. And these ones were another couple of inexpensive. These were literally about $2 each, sitting in a big pile of Wii games that the local store got. They just said, you know, whatever you'd like to grab, go ahead and grab a small pile of them, and you can get them for about $2. So, Minicopter Adventure Flight. I have low hopes, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. We'll see. All of these are complete. They do have the disc and the manuals, all of them. Brunswick Pro Bowling. So I'll probably just compare this to that other Alien bowling game I got as well. I'm just curious if the motion controls are the same on all of these. I assume they're going to be, since that's pretty much what the Wii made its name on with the Wii Sports Bowling. But this is the Brunswick Bowling one. For $2, whatever. SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Much like the Mortal Kombat, morbid curiosity. I'm just curious what a wrestling game will feel like on the Wii where they try to incorporate motion controls. Although, I do like that in this one, they do show me that I can use the Pro Controller and the GameCube controller. I think that's in the corner there. So, I'll give it a shot with the motion controls, but then I think I'll just try to get my hands on a GameCube controller and try it with that, just to see how it compares to that. And then lastly, one that kind of looked interesting at least on the back of it, it looked intriguing. Speed Zone. So I know nothing about it except that it looks like a racing game that you can play up to 8 players apparently. So I thought I'd give it a shot. So $2, I'm not going to complain too much. So as a little gap there, I'm going to talk about the only real cartridge games that I picked up this time. So for the Genesis, I ended up picking up the 6-pack cartridge. So mainly this one. I do have it in the Genesis collection for the PS3, but I did want to get another copy of Streets of Rage. So Streets of Rage 1, Sonic the Hedgehog, so the first one to go along with my Sonic 2 cartridge. And I've never had the chance to try, I never really played Golden Axe, so I was curious, and having it on the cartridge, Revenge of Shinobi as well, so I thought, you know, this card I thought would be pretty good to be able to try them out for myself. These two came from eBay. So 2 Super Famicom carts. So Super Famicom F-Zero. There we go. And also Super Famicom Star Fox. There we go. I think, yep. There we go. More or less lined up. So in case any of you are curious who haven't tried it on the Super Famicom, all the dialogue is in Japanese, but you can navigate around the menus without too much difficulty. I was able to get a game started right away. I don't know a single word of Japanese, but it wasn't too difficult to get into it. And with the F-Zero copy, to be honest, all the text right on the front is all in English. So I think you can see that. Hopefully you can read that. It's completely in English, and I think, as I recall, the menu was in English, so I had absolutely no problem just firing the game up and getting into a race right away. So that was kind of cool, and I think I got these two combined for maybe about $12 or $13 on eBay. They were from the same seller, so I got it with combined shipping and a couple of ones that I can add to my collection. So to round things off, along with that one Game Boy Advance game, I did pick up Dynasty Warriors Advance. So I really like this series, so I thought I'd give it a try on the portable, and I was very pleasantly surprised. It's very small sprites, but it looks really good considering the limitations of the hardware. It's actually a pretty fun game. And I thought I'd also try this one, Ace Combat Advance. Again, pretty straightforward, kind of simple, but I was getting a kick out of it. And to go along with that, just to clarify, I didn't have a Game Boy Advance, but I ended up making a little arrangement, so I made a little trade, and I picked up a Game Boy Advance. Works pretty well. I was just been having some fun with it, playing some of those games. That's what mainly I picked them up for, just so I could have some games to try out on the system. I've never been too into Nintendo handhelds, but I thought I'd give it a try. I like the form factor. It's just very convenient having something this size that I can just grab and throw a cartridge in and just play a game right away. Alright, so hopefully I'm zipping along with that not too badly. Moving along, I added a couple of Xbox games to my collection also. I'll kind of zip through most of these as well, just to get through a lot of it. To go along with my other ones that I like in the series, Burnout 3 Takedown. Those of you that have a decent memory, I did pick up a copy of this previously. I think for the 360, but it's still really scratched up. Oh no, sorry, it was for the Xbox, but it was a really scratched up copy that I wasn't able to get to play. I probably will still get the disc reconditioned, but for now this is actually a complete copy. The only thing that's kind of off on it is that the case is busted at the bottom. But that just means I'll have to get my hands on another Xbox case. Midtown Madness 3. which wasn't too bad, but much to my disappointment, despite my best efforts, I couldn't really run over pedestrians, and I tried. For some reason, they all managed to get out of your way, every time. Okay, so these next couple, 2 out of these 3 came from, I don't remember what the third one was, but these 2 came as part of a 3 for 10 combo at a microplay in Cambridge, so I thought I'd pick them up for that price. Project Gotham Racing 2. And again, some of these cases got beat up pretty badly. Crimson Skies, the High Road to Revenge. So I've actually seen this one in the Goodwill a couple of times in the Valley Village. But usually they still wanted about $4 at my $4 or $5 at my Valley Village. So 3 for 10, it was a much better deal. But the case again has been busted up pretty well. But that's okay. I got a chance to try this game a little bit out, and I tried a couple of missions. It's actually a pretty fun game in the little bit that I've had a chance to play. Copy of Forza Motorsport, just to get some more racing games because apparently I can't have enough. Copy of the original Burnout, Narc, on the Xbox. Now this game was a bit of a trick because when I was looking at it, I was trying to figure out if it was a shooter or if it was a beat 'em up, because they're talking about arrest combos and the curbside investigations, and then Michael Madsen is one of the voice actors in it, which I thought was interesting. But then I'm looking at this thing where I'm seeing the guy kicking somebody out of their mind, and I was kind of hoping for more of a beat 'em up. But it looks like it's a bit of a shooter with some elements where you can beat 'em up. I tried it a little bit. I wasn't getting too much into it, but I'll give it more of a shot just to see. But just in the little bit I played, I was kind of hoping for something else, but it was inexpensive enough, so I'm not going to complain too much. The next one that I tried out was Magic the Gathering Battlegrounds. And then this last one here, I already have a copy of Tetris Worlds for the PS2. But this is the Tetris Worlds and Star Wars The Clone Wars kind of 2-pack, so to speak. I picked up a couple of Xbox 360 games. And the reason for that is because I've been holding off on it because I hadn't really needed to. I've been mostly a PlayStation guy during most of the time that I've been playing games. But the prices right now that I've played around with the original Xbox and I thought it was pretty good. And I knew that there was going to come a point where I was going to buy an Xbox 360. So while I was at the pawn shop near my house, they had one for a good sale at a bundle. I got 5 free games with it, so at that point I decided to pull the trigger and just get myself one. So with that, I picked up some games. These are the ones that I got with the system, and then I'll talk about a few I got separately. So, Perfect Dark Zero. I'm familiar with the series, but I've never played the game. I can't speak to how good, bad, or indifferent this game is, but I'll still give it a try. Free with the system, I'm not going to argue too much. So this one, I had a little bit of choice in the games that I got to pick from. There was a limited selection, but I did have a little bit of choice in the matter. This one I picked up for no other reason than it's going to infuriate my younger brother, who I'm going to force to play it. Bomberman Act 0. So, I never really got into the Bomberman games, didn't really play a lot of them, but I understand the Bomberman game for what it is. This does not look like Bomberman. So very clearly they're going with a very different aesthetic and a very different concept. Bomberman from like a 3D perspective. But I did think it was interesting that the multiplayer version does kind of look like what I would traditionally associate with Bomberman. So I'll still try it. You know, came free with the system, so I'll give it a go. Plus the entertainment value I'll get from forcing my younger brother to play it, who really does enjoy Bomberman, will be fairly glorious for me. So here's another one. A little bit beat up on the cover and everything, but I thought I'd give this game a try. Dead Island. I've seen some gameplay videos of it. I don't really care that much for the story of it, but at the same time, just grabbing a bunch of weapons and beating up on zombies, I'll get some entertainment value from that. I got a sealed copy of Forza 2 Motorsport, so that's kind of cool. I like getting sealed games when I can, so I'm going to open it up and give it a try, definitely for sure. Saints Row 2. So I've been kind of a big fan of Saints Row 4, which I've been playing on the PS3 and I enjoy it. This one I know is going to be a very different vibe from that, but I am kind of curious where the series started, kind of where they began with it. So I thought I'd pick up Saints Row 2 to give that a try. And the last 2 Xbox 360 games I got in 2 different places. One of them was the same pawn shop, but this one I picked out specifically because I saw it and it looked like the style of game that I enjoy. Flat out Ultimate Carnage. And immediately, as soon as I looked at it, it felt a lot like Burnout, which I love, obviously, since I have a bunch of Burnout games that I've shown off. I thought it looked really good, and I popped it in and started playing it, and a bunch of the different modes and mini games and challenges are really different, but I like how they do it, and they've got some very distinct characters as the other drivers, so kind of cool. I'm very happy with it. I just wish the case hadn't been like folded up, and I think the cover's been bent up a little bit, unfortunately. And this last one, I'm pretty sure is a terrible game, but I laughed from where I got it. Blades of Time. So I don't know if any of you have ever actually played this game or not. I've watched some gameplay video of it. It looks kind of generic for what it is, but I found it at Dollarama. I found it at the dollar store. It was literally the only Xbox or PlayStation game they had there, but they had like 1 or 2 copies of this, and I just laughed, and then I thought, well, $2, sure. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but sealed copy of Blades of Time. The last stack to go along with all that stuff. One loose game. I wanted to pick up another Saturn game just to add, because most of the Saturn games I have are imports anyway. Daytona USA Championship Circuit Edition. I think the Championship Circuit Edition is the one where they fixed some of the bugs that I think were in the other Daytona USA, but I may be thinking of something. I could be incorrect. By all means, correct me in the comments. But I think that's right. I'm going to save a couple of PS3 games for the end, but I'll go quickly over some PS2s that I picked up. Stuntman, Need for Speed Carbon, Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb Collection. So I saw this game inside of a bargain bin, inside of one of those pawn shops, and it caught my eye. Gun Griffin Blaze. So for this one, I would say the biggest thing is that the cover caught my eye, just because when I looked at it, I saw it was a Working Designs game. And right off the bat, what drew me was that I'm looking at the ability to play as a mech, basically a mech warrior or a mech robot, and running around shooting things and blowing it up. I'm a simple man, simple things that I enjoy, so that seemed right up my alley. So I tried it out a little bit. It looks really cool. I'm just terrible trying to control the camera while controlling the robot with the other stick on the PS3 controller. Midway Arcade Treasures 3. So that's just a compliment to go with my Midway Arcade Treasures 2. Another different set of games. These are a bunch of arcade racing games. So that's kind of an interesting collection they put together for this one. Again, going kind of with the racing game theme here. Power Drone. It just looked visually interesting. I thought I'd check it out. I played it a little bit. It's actually, it's interesting for what it is. I had never heard of this game originally, but again, they have some characters and kind of futuristic racing machines. So I definitely want to try it out some more just to see how I like it, but that bargain bin seemed to have a lot of interesting things in it. And this one for me was the prize of the lot when I saw it. Most of these were $2 or $3 or even $3.99. This one was $3.99, and definitely I had no problem picking this one up. PlayStation 2 Crazy Taxi Greatest Hits Edition. That's a sealed copy. So when I saw that, it even has the little tag that would have gone back in the store to hang it up on the shelf. Sorry, on the rack, or whatever. I love the Crazy Taxi series, and I'm definitely going to open this up and play it, but I did think it was really cool. I wanted to show it off as it was before I did that. But really cool, picking up a brand new copy of Crazy Taxi for $4. So that bargain bin was good to me. Alright, so last and certainly not least, I did pick up a couple of PS3 games I'm just going to do to finish off. I left them to the end mainly because I actually captured a little bit of footage of these games, so as I talk about them, you can hear me, but you can actually see what the game looks like in case you're interested at all. This one caught my eye just because I got a really strong Ready to Rumble vibe from it, which was a game that I enjoyed, so I was kind of into it. Facebreaker. Now, after I started playing it, I did play it a little bit, and after I started playing it, I did notice that the AI is incredibly cheap. If you get on a bit, it's hard to get on a bit of a rally. You'll get a couple of combos going. What I thought was really cool about it, though, is that I do love arcade boxing games. like a Ready to Rumble, or in this case, Facebreakers. For me, there were some really fast controls, you could get some combos going, but if the game seemed to sense that you were getting the upper hand, even on kind of lower difficulty levels, it would immediately start blocking everything and start hitting its own combos. You could definitely win the fight, but you might struggle at different times, depending on how good or bad you are. I admit freely I suck at games, but I was able to win the fights that I was doing. But what was really fun about it for me was setting up the big Facebreaker combos with the big, kind of cinematic finish. I did have one that I captured that hopefully you're looking at right now. But kind of a cool game, and I got it for I think $3, and I was actually pretty happy with that little pickup. All right, second game. I never actually played this game originally or knew anything about it. But I saw it and it looked interesting, and then when I started playing it, I thought it was really good. Motorstorm. So this one actually looked really good on my TV when I put it on. It looked good, it sounded good, and I got a kick out of playing it. I'm not very good at steering in it, because what seems to be the case for me in any racing game is that I don't seem to understand the concept of a button involving the brakes. I don't seem to understand that occasionally when you make a hard turn you do need to hit the brakes, but at least it makes for some very fun crashes, which is probably what you're getting a chance to see right now. Interesting looking game, lots of different vehicles I could see that you could race with, so I thought it was really cool. It would be really fun, I think, in multiplayer, which I think you can do up to 12 players, which is pretty good. I don't know if if the online server is still around, or if anybody's even still playing that game at this point. But even if you're just racing against the computer and everything, it looks really good, and you can ride around a bunch of interesting courses with different vehicles. I thought it was pretty good. So the last one of the bunch, one that I was probably the silliest one, but one that I enjoyed, was Yaiba, Ninja Gaiden Z. So I have been playing still more of the Wii U version of Ninja Gaiden 3, which I've enjoyed. This one is a similar concept, but takes on a very different tone. It's got kind of a comic book art style, which looks interesting. It's very silly. It feels kind of like a parody that's fully self-aware. So the dialogue between the characters and the whole thing is over the top, but you can put together some really cool combos, and you're a cyborg ninja fighting zombies. So not too much you can say about that. The big thing for me is that this was actually a brand new copy of the game that I picked up at EB Games for $6. So I got a kick out of it, even just starting playing the game right off the top. For $6, brand new, it seemed like a no-brainer to me, and I do not regret the purchase at all. So I'll definitely play this a little bit here and there. I think this will be one of my more go-to games for the PS3 for at least the next little while. I'll have some fun with this character. So that's the end of the pickup video. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way to the end. I appreciate that. Let me know in the comments if there's any game here that you're familiar with. Maybe one of the games that I haven't played that you can shed some light on. Maybe you thought it was good. Maybe you thought it was junk. This one probably. If you've played it, I don't know. I don't hold out a lot of hope. But anyway, by all means, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And again, thank you for watching.